Jimmy D and the Wolf podcast.
What's up, bro?
Hey, had a vocal lesson this afternoon,
How was it?
getting into some technical stuff. How to sing your O's, your Oo's, your U's, your S. Each one's differently. It's like, how am I going to remember that when I'm singing a line with five of them in there?
Man, I've been watching that the special on Disney about the Beatles Get Back.
Yeah, I want to see that, but I don't have Disney.
Man, it's so good that I'm actually, and I barely watch television. It's so good that I'm going back through and watching it the second time. The entire special. It's amazing.
It's 26 hours.
Yeah, it shows the whole the songwriting process and everything. The process that they use. It is like a master class in songwriting. Just watching McCartney and Lennon work together. It's a master class.
Is it on Disney for a short while, or
I don't know. It's a Peter Jackson thing.
I know.
We just got Disney because of our phone thing, our Verizon package, and we got Disney Plus for free. But it's insanely good. That special is insanely good. They went in there with nothing.
And I want to see it in the worst way, but I don't have Disney.
Yeah.
So, but I will see it. Now you got me fired up.
Well, that's what got me when you said you had a vocal lesson. That's what got me thinking about it. Because to me, the most like insane part about all of it is all those super complex harmonies. They just pull them out of nowhere, dude. None of that's mapped out. They're not like, I'll sing the sixth, I'll sing the third, you sing none of the. There's zero conversations like that. Like they'll come up with a song on the spot, and then, like within seconds, they're singing harmonies with each other.
Well, I don't know that. I mean, I was talking to one of the singers in our worship band because I'm trained as a mechanical engineer, not a recording engineer, but I still think analytically. And she was talking about there was another person that doesn't sing with us anymore because it was hitting the wrong harmony. So I started questioning her. Well, what exactly harmonies are you hitting? It was like two or three people. And are you hitting the 3 and the 5? You hit the harmony above or below? And looked at me and says, no. I either sing the high soprano or somebody else sings the low alto. Or she didn't know what the notes were. She just called them by, some names they had assigned them, like the high soprano harmony. What is that? Is that a third? Is that a fifth? Is that a harmony? Is that an octave above? I don't know. High soprano doesn't tell me anything. Maybe that's a technical term that they use, but
yeah, it's amazing the way they put them together.
So I mean, what I was trying to come off to you, not to is to say that apparently not all. It's maybe unusual to think about it as a music theory thing.
Sure.
But the Beatles were at a whole nother level than any band I played in. I mean, I'm not trying to imply that.
And some of them, it's just like, sometimes like I picked up on pretty quickly that if McCartney's singing the lead line, the Lennon will just sing like a drone. Just like sing the same note. Phonetically, he'll be right with McCartney, but melodically, it's just one note, which is fascinating to me too. Lennon was unbelievable harmony singer. I mean, all those guys are incredible at it, but it was the first thing that jumped out at me. It's like, because you get to see them come up with some of the songs.
I'll have to see it.
Yeah, it's great. It's so good. Yeah, I've been digging into that. It's actually kind of one of the big reasons why I've been so tired today, because I've been trying so hard to watch that. Like late at night, I turn it on and I'm sitting there like glazed over trying to get through all of it because it's so good.
I gotta get it. I gotta get it. See it. Well, today the subject that I put on the notice is virtual real estate. Now we've come from 0 to probably 110 doors now in a month and a half. No, year and a half.
Year and a half. Yeah.
Not quite that fast. But there's a universe that we haven't even tapped into, and apparently it exists. And that is real estate in the metaverse. And
Virtual real estate.
yeah, it makes my head turn. I don't
understand any of it. I don't understand
either.
NFTs. I don't understand
That old world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, NFTs. But virtual worlds have been going around for a long time. I sat in your living room and watched your daughter work on Minecraft. That's a virtual world.
Sure.
That's virtual real estate. But Facebook changed their name to Meta, and I'm reading from this article that I read. This was I subscribe to real estate newsletters, and this was one of them talking about giving you advice on how to invest in real estate, etc. And the title of this one was about virtual real estate. And the article starts by saying, when Facebook changed its name to Meta, a lot of us thought they were just trying to get away from the dark clouds that were under them for, taking our data and stealing it, just trying to obfuscate and get away from that reputation. But according to this article, what Meta really equates to is Facebook's pivots toward the metaverse, cryptocurrency powered collection of virtual worlds. People can interact with each other, transact business, enjoy concerts, make investments. And gave some examples. I didn't know any of these exist, but there's a group called Metaverse Group, real estate, a virtually integrated real estate investment company focused on digital assets. Recently purchased in a metaverse called Decentraland using the cryptocurrency Mana, $MANA. They paid 618,000 mana, and if you equate that to US dollars, that's $2.43 million that they invested in virtual real estate. We're not talking about pennies or dollars, we're talking about millions of dollars. And it's the largest digital real estate purchase to date. Ever since Facebook's names change, metaverse cryptocurrencies have exploded in growth. And in October 26th, the currency used for that purchase, which is dollar mana, I don't know how you pronounce it, was worth 75 cents. Now it's worth 547. There's another one called Dollar Sand, went from $1.15 to $6. And the cheapest land in Decentraland now sells for 15 grand. But what are you going to do with it? Is it just, hey, I have it? But you can actually develop it just like you can real estate in the real world.
So you can leverage.
Yeah. There's brand advertising. Companies like Atari bought huge parcels in the virtual world, the sandbox, for advertising purposes. Roblox. I'm sure your kids know. I've heard the name Roblox.
Got Roblox.
Are you familiar with it as well?
Yeah.
Is it like Minecraft, I guess?
Yep.
So another game, virtual world, right?
Yeah, my daughter loves it.
Long-time popular game and one of the original iterations of the metaverse, Roblox, just welcomed Nike, the sporting goods company, Nike to their platform. Nike Land is a space for Roblox players to hang out, buy NFTs, and more. And you can rent out your digital parcels. Allow you to lease to open lots to brands and other players for their own use, or you can build on your land and expand your opportunities. One example is Wave, a company called Wave, which is an entertainment company, puts together live concerts. I see you're smiling. I mean, this is crazy, man. Putting together live concerts in virtual worlds. Some of their virtual shows have included The Weeknd, Justin Bieber, but those were in neutral spaces. But it could get to a point where you buy a plot and you build it up and do a concert venue, and you can lease that out for virtual concerts. And you could include office buildings to bridge the gap between remote workers and in-person staff, malls, brick and mortar storefronts where you can sell NFTs. The possibilities are limitless in the metaverse. Are you wrapping your head around it? I'm not.
Not at all. And sometimes I feel like that ship's kind of already sailed, because I knew people that were getting into Bitcoin early on.
Well, I think Gary Vee, who we both highly respect, Gary Vee, he's been tooting this horn for a while, and he said, yes, the boat has sailed on cryptocurrencies, but the ship hasn't even left the port yet. If you think it's, I mean, maybe the first wave is over, but it's going to be so much huger than it is now. He could be wrong. I mean, who can? Nobody can predict the future. Nobody can predict. But so that brings me to the next paragraph of this article. Is it hype or is it the future? And this article even says it's too early to call. I mean, it could be just all hype. It's possible.
Yeah, but that whole virtual reality thing for young people is such a big deal. I would veer towards this thing blowing up.
Ask your daughter if she's ever going to stop working in virtual worlds.
Right. Exactly. None of them are. All three of my children are always going to, I mean, they grew up on they've been playing video games forever. We didn't even, Nintendo came out when I was like 15 or something. I didn't come up around video games.
So with crypto markets becoming increasingly popular along with Facebook's shift to huge investments and an adamant belief that the world is turning towards virtual reality at a quick rate, it seems likely that we'll be talking about virtual land and avatars for the near future. And the value behind virtual real estate is only good as the popularity of the metaverse. But the willingness of major brands to enter this space and spend millions, as I alluded to earlier, for advertising and investment purposes will continue to bring more into the virtual worlds. And the thing about it, many of these, like Decentraland, has limited the number of parcels of land. They said there's only 90,000 parcel of lands. So in that regard, if they stand to that rule, now they could always violate it, I guess. What's going to happen if they say, oh, we were just kidding, we're going to roll out another 90,000?
Right.
I mean, who's going to slap their wrist? I mean, so they say it's limited, but when it becomes money always comes down to money.
Yeah.
If there's money to be made, I mean, people may change their mind. But there's a similar project, Starlink, Metaverse Universe, focused on space, and it said if you get into it now, you can spend $100 and buy a lot. I logged into Starlink.com, and every parcel sold out. It's all sold out. You can't buy any more Starlink. So that boat has left the port. So I mean, there's a lot to unpack. And well, I'm on this coaching artist coaching project, and it's pretty intense. It's an app. I've told you about it. And one of the things he talked about on Friday was NFTs. They're going to have an NFT marketplace. Now, NFTs, non-fungible tokens, if any listener doesn't know what that is, it's a digital asset that is usually tied to a physical asset, and it's like the serial number of that asset. And any time, or it could be just strictly a digital asset as well, but it could be tied to a physical asset. And anytime that product changes hands, the original owner it's recorded. I mean, so you can't sell it until it gets recorded in the blockchain, and then the original owner gets a percentage of every time it sells. So it's a way of verifying that something is legitimate and real. And I suppose there's a serial number on it that ties it back to the NFT, or it can be a virtual. It can be physical, tied to a digital trail, is my understanding, or it could be literally a digital, something that only exists in the digital realm, and you're selling it. People are, millions and millions of dollars are changing hands in NFTs, and that to me is crazy. But it's a real thing.
We should have Alex on to. He's like the NFT pro, right?
Yeah, maybe we should have him on. That's a good idea. That's a great idea. We should have Alex on. We have to get John Mollison on as well. I have dropped the ball or not followed up with him to get a scheduled for him. He would be not a different subject. I'm just talking about guests that we should have on. John may know about NFTs as well. I don't know, but
I think it's things for me that somebody's going to have to physically hold me down and explain it to me like every day for a week for it to really sink in.
Well, I get all these artists. I think there are more people trying to help you become an independent artist than there are people that are trying to become independent artists.
Exactly. It's like there's more people giving guitar lessons online than there are people taking lessons, it seems like.
But so I do try to follow a lot of the things, and both NFTs are for musicians. Well, Grimes is an artist from Canada, and she was Elon Musk's significant other, and they never got married, but they've since broken up, and I guess there's some trash talking going on now on social media between the two of them. But having Elon Musk as your boyfriend probably didn't hurt her. But I think she raised $50 million by selling some digital assets, some NFTs. And I think that was the amount. It was in the millions. It had a 5 in front of it. I'm pretty sure it's 50.
Behind that whole world, 100%.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Musk is behind that whole world 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, he started his own Bitcoin kind of as a joke, his own cryptocurrency. Doge, I don't know how it's pronounced, DOGE. It was originally a joke, I think, but now it's worth a lot of money. So, yeah, I mean, we can just shake our heads and say, I want to stay in the real world, and anyone can do that. Just like if somebody wants to go off the grid and go live up in the mountains, I mean, that's your right to do that. But I'm interested in what's happening, and I'd like to be aware, and even I'm an entrepreneur. If there's money to be made,
100%, man. 100%. That's why I want to.
That's capitalism. I mean,
exactly, and that's why I want to figure this out too, because there's a part of me that's wishing that I would have gotten into it a few years ago when people were telling me about it. But
100%. I mean, and there are people thinking that the ship has sailed and it's done. But it'd be the one analogy that I thought. I mean, if you remember the the late 90s, the .com boom and then bust.
Yeah.
I mean, if you at the end of the bust, you'd say, well, that means the internet is dead. Well, you would have been very mistaken, right? Just because a lot of first round, Petco or whatever, people were trying anything and without any real reason to it, if it was a workable business model, and trying to turn it into put it on the internet. I remember that time. It was late 90s. It was a first round bust. Well, we could go through at least one or two or multiple of those, but that doesn't mean the long-term trend isn't going to be upward. I mean, look where we are on the internet now. I mean, if you'd given up on it in 2000, you'd be kicking yourself, because, it definitely crashed. A lot of companies went under. Their stock market actually had a correction because of all the .com startup companies that went under. But there are a lot of companies that didn't give up on it. And look where we are today. I mean, the millions of billions that have been made. I mean, Amazon was one of those. Didn't give up. Lost money for a long time.
They're working on getting all their own shipping now. Because the supply chain breakdown, they're working on doing their own shipping.
Oh, really? Across the ocean? Wow.
Vertical supply chain.
Absolutely.
As big as Amazon is, this time next year it'll be even bigger.
Well, yeah. I mean, as someone who used to I used to export, I used to go the other way. And I thank God that I'm not in that today. I haven't talked to anybody that's in it, but I think I shared this on one of our previous podcasts. You would be at the mercy because the money is coming into the U.S. and they just send the containers back. And if they make some money with something in them, it's fine. But they were making so much money coming in, they were sending them. They were just not even taking them to the interior and loading them up with stuff to be exported. They were just sending it back empty because the faster they got them back, the more money they could make versus bringing them to the Midwest, loading them up with ag products and shipping them and then getting them unloaded at the other end and back to the ship. They decided that it was better to just, as soon as they got unloaded, drop off, ship, take them back empty.
Wow.
And so I got to believe that if you're in the business that I was in, exporting food grade soybeans by container, I think you're going to have a lot of product that you can't move because the containers they're not even using them. I'm sure there's some, but I'm sure the supply is drastically reduced and the cost is probably considerably higher. It's a commodity. I mean, you put soybeans in a container. I mean, it's a higher quality, but it's not like container full of microchips or cars or iPhones. Can you imagine the value of a container full of iPhones, a 40-foot container filled with iPhones, versus that same container or a 20-foot container because it weighs out too heavy at 40. But a 20-foot container of soybeans versus a 20-foot container filled with iPhones. Is there any difference in value there?
Yeah. Well, that's like priority number one for human beings now is the iPhone. I mean, there's people that can't afford a car or even a bicycle, but everybody buys an iPhone. Everybody has an iPhone.
Ties back into the metaverse, man. Why is it? That's the metaverse, right?
Yeah.
It's not the physical world, it's the metaverse.
Yeah, I think people prefer it. That's probably the whole thing. But yeah, it's not going anywhere, especially the virtual reality stuff. I remember when the Sims game came out, that was sort of like the first virtual reality thing. And I just thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever seen. It was like, why would anybody take their time doing this? Because it's a game where you have to you have to shower and you have to eat. It's just, they're just living life. They're just existing, but on a game. Like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And now it's just blowing up and it's everywhere. So I was wrong about that, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm just interested in learning more. And it's moving so quickly. It's hard to, I mean, some of these articles, there was an article that I printed off. I've got it here somewhere. And it had like 3 pages of single space typed with links. They underlined. So I kept it as a PDF so I could click on the links. But these were all websites of different places to buy or sell cryptocurrency or different types of currency or marketplaces for NFTs or places to learn about NFTs or learn about cryptocurrency. I mean, there are a lot of resources out there, but it takes time. I mean, it's just like anything else. You have to study it. You have to research it.
Sure.
Of all the stuff we're doing now, who has time for that on top of everything else we're doing? You have lots of time, right, Jimmy? You're not busy.
Yeah, not at all. It's almost all downtime.
Sarcasm for anyone who's listening. Jimmy is maxed out, I would say. You're doing a lot. And you still slip in a few gigs.
Yeah. I still get to play guitar every once in a while. No, I love all of it, man. I really do.
Yeah, me too. But I wish I had more time. I'm trying to.
That's the only thing I'm short on, and that's what I tell people when they're like, how's it going? What are you up to? It's like, well, the only thing I'm short on is time.
So it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I don't think there's a better time. I've said it multiple times, probably on this. Terry Brown is watching. Thank you for saying that, Terry. Letting us know you're on. I haven't seen you on here in a while. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Must not have been important.
Yeah.
It was important to say hello to Terry, though.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess that's, I don't, we were going to do a little short one tonight. We had some other things.
Yeah.
If you're good with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I hope if anyone tuned in expecting to learn all the secrets of the metaverse and cryptocurrency, I mean, definitely we're not the guys.
But I think that we should talk more about it, because I think if we jump into it, I'll learn about it, and I've needed to learn about it for a long time now.
Yeah, yeah.
So we
So
definitely revisit this on the next.
yeah, because it's a topical topic.
It's its own world.
Yeah, and it's interesting. And oh, I know what I was saying. I was going to say, I think I've said it before. I don't think there's ever been a time in the history of civilization, of human beings on this planet Earth, that's been more interesting than living right now.
Right.
The amount of things happening, and capabilities, things we can do, things we know, things we're learning. It's just exciting to be alive.
Yeah, exactly. It's mind numbing how fast it's moving.
Yeah, yeah. All right, buddy.
Yeah, man.
You want to call it?
Yep. Thanks for watching.
All right.
Next